All right. Hi, guys. We are
Hey,
live.
we're
I'm here
live.
this morning with my friend Tara, and my name is Ayanna Parent. For those of you who don't know, I'm the owner and founder of Be Free Coaching and Wellness, and our mission is to help change people's lives through movement, mindfulness, and fun, and all types of healing. And so I do a Motivational Monday speaker series, and my guest today is Tara Vargas Wallace.
Hey,
So welcome.
thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
We have a lot to talk about today. But
Yeah.
she's a really cool story. And I know before I want to get into some of this stuff, I just know that there's a lot going on in the world right now. And she and I have talked a lot about it, not even just today, but just in general. And I think at this point have called each other like, help, I'm freaking out.
Yep.
Just holding
Yep.
space for each other, like I gotta process
Bounce
this
us off.
thing with you.
Right.
And so we just want to honor that and just tell you guys that we're with you and we hold space for you, and that includes everybody. So we're going to talk about some of that today. We are going to keep it as positive as possible because I feel like that's what people need to hear, and people are really, really disheartened by what's happening with the violence, and I totally get it. I totally get the anger, but I also know that it's hard to watch what's happening right now emotionally. So
Yeah.
it's completely exactly good word for everybody. So we'll get into that, but I want to introduce Tara and just say a little bit about your story. So you have a really cool story, and I just want you to share it and talk about who you are and what you do and all the coolness about you.
Oh, thank you. Well, let's see. I feel like I've told my story so many times, so it gets kind of like redundant, and I feel like my story.
But I haven't heard it except for 2 seconds ago, and I want to hear it again already.
I know. But I feel like I just want to say, I feel like it's not very different from a lot of people, unfortunately. We've all sort of faced a lot of these similar trials and tribulations, but basically, I'm from the Bronx. My whole family is my family's from Puerto Rico. And so, I'm 100% Puerto Rican, proud Boricua. And and I'm married. I have 3 children. My husband's Black, and we have 3 beautiful brown and Black baby girls. They're all grown women now. I call them babies. They'll always be my babies. And I came to the Cape at a very difficult point in my life. I was homeless with my then 2-year-old child. I was a teenage mother. I had nowhere to go, and so my grandmother owned a home here in Falmouth, and this was, a place that I felt was safe. So I had come to the Cape to, live with her. Unfortunately, 3 months or so, about 3 months after I moved in, she passed away. Didn't even know she was sick. She sort of hid that from the whole family. She died of stomach cancer. Yeah. So at this point, my 2-year-old and I were living in a car. I had purchased a $500 jalopy. It was a Chrysler New Yorker. It was a big ass boat. We lived driving around all over Cape Cod. I drove everywhere. And a counselor that I had been speaking to had encouraged me to apply for shelter. I didn't know anything about this stuff.
Right.
So I ended up at a place called Visions, which was it's shut down now, but it was in Yarmouth, and it was sort of like a shelter for teenage moms. And I was able to meet some wonderful people there who really sort of guided me and helped me along my way. And I owe a lot of who I am today because of them. And ended up, I had stayed there for about a year. I was going to college at Four Seas, taking classes. And in order for me to graduate and get my certificate, I had to complete an internship program. And so I ended up interning at HAC. And from that internship, I ended up getting a full-time position with benefits at 18 years of age, which was like unheard of. I was like, I have a 401k. Like,
oh my God, I know. At that age, I was like, what's a 401k?
Right. So, and again, wonderful people at HAC who definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, have have given me so much guidance in my life, and I owe a lot to them as well. So I've been very fortunate with this community being so welcoming and just meeting so many amazing people who helped change my view on humanity, really. Really inspired me to be where I'm at today.
Yes. And so what do you do for it's so good. What do you do for your job right now?
So I am working my business right now. I am, my business is Artistry by Tara.
Oh, that's right. You're an artist.
Or Lady T Artistry. And, I'm an artist of many mediums. I have done everything from drawing and sketching and painting to making jewelry to now I've pivoted and now I'm making masks. That word, you hear it everywhere now. Due to the pandemic, I have had to pivot. And so now I'm making masks. And let me just tell you.
Pivot is real.
It seriously is.
Lord help me.
I know you know about that. So, the mask making, I started off by just making a bunch of masks for free with whatever I some material that had been given to me. And then I just started selling them because I was like, I need to make some money here. So I had been employed with a nonprofit organization doing intensive case management prior to the pandemic. And then I was, and I was given the option to work from home and work remotely for 8 weeks. And then I was basically given an ultimatum. All right, we can no longer give you work from home. You have to either come in to work or you have to give us your notice. And so I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks trying to make this decision. It was the hardest thing for me. And the main reason my decision to leave and resign from that position is because I had found out that 21 of my clients had tested positive for COVID and that one had passed away. And so I felt I did not want to put my family in jeopardy of, as much as I wanted to be there for my clients, I could not take that risk by bringing that home to my family. So I made the tough decision to resign. So now I'm on my own trying to get this business off the ground. Dude. But I'm involved in a lot of, things to keep me busy. So that's all good.
You are, and you're a big advocate for women.
Absolutely.
So tell me about it. How'd you get involved? Why women?
Yes. Okay. So I know
why women, but tell the world. Such a big community advocate. I just anytime I want to spread your voice and your message.
Thank you. Likewise, girl. So with the commission, I just have to make this disclaimer. I am not here on this, broadcast today as a representative of the commission on the status of women. I just have to make that very clear. The views that I speak on today are my own views. They are not the views of the commission. So I just want to put that out there. But I am a commissioner on the Cape Cod Commission on the status of women. And I will speak in general about the commission. Basically, what the commission is charged with is we are comprised of 13 local commissioners throughout the whole Cape and Islands. And we are one of 9 other regional commissions, and then we're underneath the Massachusetts State Commission. And we are charged with the task of studying and reviewing women's issues in our region. So anything that affects women on a policy level, we study and review it by holding public hearings, by conducting surveys. Lately, because of the pandemic, we've had to pivot, and we did a virtual town meeting. I was
there.
Yeah. So
that was great. I loved it.
Good.
That was great.
And I'm so glad you were there. And so what we do is we then compile all of that data. I shouldn't speak as we. I know
it's hard.
The commission compiles all of that data.
Make a disclaimer. We're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
And actually, this was the state commission. They compiled all of that data, and they it then gets presented to our legislation. And so we are tasked with bringing whatever information that we get from our constituents to legislators to help them file, bills and legislation based on women's needs. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great it's a volunteer position. It's something that you really have to have a lot of passion for because you don't get paid for it. And,
I was wondering about that. I didn't want to
Yeah.
ask that, but I was wondering.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right.
We are state appointed. We're not elected officials. So the Commonwealth has to swear us in, they appoint us. But,
Right.
the people, all of the women on the commission are very passionate about women's issues and creating change, enacting change for all of us. And so you have to have that desire and that passion because it's definitely, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever been a part of. So that's my payment.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, right? So your background in terms of like living homeless,
Mm-hmm.
you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is my experience because I had some of that with my mom too,
Yeah.
of living in government center when it was like homeless shelters were down there in certain spaces. But like I think it helps to see the world in a different way, even though that was so painful. I don't know if you experienced this, but in some ways I'm so grateful.
Absolutely.
Because I can see the pain of other people. I could see different races. I could see women really fighting for children, like in the strength of the world in a different way. And, I don't know, it sort of broadened my, I think, ability. Probably helped you see like how you, in terms of advocacy and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
It's where I feel like my compassion and my empathy comes from. I'm able to relate. And a lot of people, I mean, and as a social worker, your clients want to know that you can relate to them on some level. I mean, granted, we can't speak about our personal experiences with our clients. It's unethical, whatever. But when you're helping someone, exactly. But they want that connection. It's hard to relate. It's hard to relate to a social worker or any type of case manager or any type of worker who's trying to help you. And it's, you're not going to get much accomplished if they can't relate to you. So I think that's a very important. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I did instead? Because I was kind of tired of that narrative, even though I'm an LICSW. So that's why I changed it to coaching.
Love it.
Because you can shift that paradigm, right? I have to stay to the ethics of certain things of social work, of like confidentiality and all that kind of stuff. But because I designed my own coaching method, I can then share my stories in ways. Because I think some of that is just silly.
Right. Totally.
It's human connection. And you just have to exchange. And I tell people that right up front. I say, I share my story with you all the time. And a lot of it is because I work with people in recovery. And so like they need to know how you get positive and shift that paradigm. Yeah. So it's like, let me tell you what I did.
Want to know that you can relate. Yeah. Absolutely. Brilliant. I think that's, I love everything you're doing. Your energy is just so infectious and you're putting your mark in the world. And I just want you to know I admire you, even though we've never actually physically met.
I know. Isn't that weird? I thought that this morning. I'm like, wait, have I even like shook her hand or hugged her or kissed her or anything?
How did that happen?
How did that happen?
I have no idea. And we know so many people, so many similar people.
I know. It's
crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into some of the race stuff if you're cool with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to start because it's just so overwhelming. But I know both you and I have both been spokespeople just for people of color and just how to fight this whole thing. And I love you're so bold on Facebook. You're about all this stuff and white privilege and people need to be taking responsibility for their whiteness and all that kind of stuff. Do you have thoughts of anything you want to share today specifically about that?
Absolutely. Waking up to hearing about, the National Guard being called into Boston. I have like such a heavy heart, but I have such mixed feelings about it all. It's like, no, I don't condone violence. I don't condone destruction and madness and chaos. But I'm more angry about the senseless murders of continuous murders of Black men and women that have been going on for as long as we we can even remember,
That's
300
like
years.
500 years, girl.
Yeah, exactly. Like purposeless.
Right.
And that's, I guess, my stance. I think, this fight isn't about Black people or people of color. This fight is about humanity.
Totally.
We are humans. We are all humans. And how can you not feel for this fight? How can you not have some sort of connection, regardless of whether or not you're Black or a person of color or white? How can you not take a stance and sit there and remain silent, or at least educate yourself? And this is
Right.
where I have, such an issue with some of my own family and friends. It's like, they have the opposite stance, but at the same time, it's like they're not open to learning. They're not open
Right.
to having a dialogue and open discussion and intellectual discussion. They just want to fight, and so that's been really disheartening, because it's just not what it's about. This is a humanitarian fight. This is a humanitarian crisis, and we need to do something about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a health problem.
Yes. Actually, the state of Pennsylvania
I
declared
saw
it.
that. I saw that. I was
I was
like,
like, yeah. We need
I was like,
Massachusetts to follow through on that.
it's a freaking health crisis, people.
Thank you. I was so happy to read that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to get all these states on the same page. I mean, unfortunately for Trump. Oh, you don't want to get me on my Trump soapbox, but yeah, we won't go there. But anyway.
I'm not gonna stop you from saying shit, girl.
I love you.
I guess so.
Oh God. We just, we all need to just wake up.
I know. It is a health crisis, and I think so. I've been playing with like, how can Be Free really, come be a forefront in this, because our mission really is healing. And so, and it's the way that I've been doing it is educating a lot of, white people around anti-racist stuff, and then doing healing workshops specifically for people of color around movement, mindfulness, and like taking care of yourself, because there's the trauma that the health crisis really is for people of color, because they're so harmed by the trauma right now. So, and it's not to say that white people aren't, I know the pain that they're also feeling, right? I have a gazillion white allies that are so amazing. And I've had so many people call me and like cry with me and be like, I don't know what you need, but I'm going to do whatever you need.
Yeah, I love that. Right? That is exactly what we need more of, though. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, thank you.
Yes, I know. And they're like, this is how I'm doing it. You are my Black friend, and I'm making sure you are okay, because this sucks. And if it sucks for me, I know for you it sucks 1,000 times more. And I know trying to be a mom to blessings sucks even harder right now. So, I mean, it's like, and I'm like, you're doing it. That's the work. Like, thank you. That's the work right there. That's it. That's fine.
Yep. Absolutely.
I was just saying that because of healing. And I was at the vigil on Saturday, so I was talking about just like, how do you handle this, because it's so crazy, right? And I must have screamed love like I think 50 times. Like I must have said, like, you gotta love your, like, everybody.
Right.
So it's just like, it's got to come from a place of love in order to, and we got to incorporate different voices, right? So a lot of people are like, why'd you do that with Steve? He's so right wing and Trump and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, because you got to combine the voices. We got to, police.
100%.
You got to combine the voices, and you got to have audiences that can hear both sides.
Yeah.
And I don't really care what side you're on. If you come together in peace and you stand against Black Lives Matter at the same time. Yes. I think both are possible.
Absolutely. And not to sound horrible. I don't even know what to use for this phrase, but white people only listen to white people. So you have to have, we need allies. You know what I mean? We need allies. And, I love Steve. I used to have, before I actually got to know him, I used to think the same way. Like, oh, he's just a white cop. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I got to know him through my CLI workshop class. He is a genuinely good man. And what I love most about him is that, yes, he has different point of views, but he wants so badly to understand. And he wants so badly to be a part of the solution.
Exactly.
And to me, that speaks volumes.
Right. That was the first thing he told me. Sure.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. He's like, I just want to be part of the solution with you. I'm like, I'm down with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. I think that was wonderful. Yeah. I wasn't able to be there. I wish I could have been. I was kicking myself in the ass. I like, participated in the rally.
What's happening right now? Like, you got to preserve yourself.
Yeah.
It's hard to be every.
But I watched all the videos and I loved it. It was beautiful. And oh my goodness. If you have not seen the videos of the vigil, of Ayanna's vigil and Steve's vigil,
yeah,
you can see
We'll do more. There'll be more. And maybe you can be a part of organizing the next one.
I would love to.
Yay. Yeah, and kudos to everyone that's doing stuff like Peaceful on the Cape, because it is about peaceful. There was something on the Green. There was a beautiful one in Falmouth. There was one in Provincetown.
Yes.
And from, everything looked peaceful and really beautiful statements of like people just putting signs of Black Lives Matter. Like I was crying watching this stuff.
Yeah.
And the speeches, and you were at the one on the Green, and that, all those speeches too were wonderful. And I couldn't be at that. You know what I mean? Like you can only do as much as you can do.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But like kudos to the
Cape. You want to be a part of it all, but I'm sorry, what? I know, we're just both so excited.
You got it.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I mean, it's hard. You want to be a part of it all, but it's hard. You got to just do what you can do, and as long as you are participating in something, being a part of something, this is so much bigger. And as long as you're just making an effort to make your stamp in the world, it doesn't have to be loud and proud like some of us. It can be the smallest, gesture. So, we need it all.
That is so true, because I think some of my friends were making fun of me after the vigil. Like they were walking away. I was like, wait, I love you. And okay, like we know that. I was like, no, I really feel strong that I need to say it. And just say it to everybody. Like I just right now, because I feel like that's so shaken.
Yeah.
The love piece is so shaken, and people are so like, you see it on Facebook where people are like really having these crazy arguments with other people that are just almost irrelevant at this point. It's like,
yep.
People are angry. That's why they're causing like people are hurt. Like really, you see the world right now in a reaction of Trump.
Mm-hmm.
If you have PTSD, you're in fight or flight. We're in fight right now, right? It's from a place of disturbance, which is trauma and harm, right? If you've experienced trauma, you've experienced harm.
Yes.
So it's all under that lens. But love is the answer.
Yes, love is the answer. Love needs to conquer. In fact, I wanted to bring up Audre Lorde. Do you know Audre Lorde? Who Audre? Of
course.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
So she has that infamous quote. Okay, now I'm gonna get it wrong because I'm on live camera. But for the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. Do you know what that one? They may. Okay, so let me start over. For the master's tools, never dismantle the master's house. They may allow us temporarily to beat him at his own game, but they will never enable us to bring about genuine change, I believe is how it goes. I hate to misquote someone as wonderful and powerful as she is. But basically, that's like, if something is the source of the problem, you can't use it to solve the problem, right?
Exactly.
I mean, nothing is solved by becoming the thing that you're trying to destroy. Hate, violence, nothing is solved by that.
Exactly.
But I understand it.
Oh, understand it 1,000%. 1,000%. And it's like when I see it, I cry because, and some people may have a different opinion about this. It's not because I cry because of the violence. It's cries because the pain that is so great that causes that reaction.
Yeah.
That's what I'm crying for.
Yes.
Like that it had to get, no humans want to be violent.
Right.
None of them. In order to invoke violence, you have to be so pained.
Yes.
That is your only response because you feel like you have no other response. And that is your only way to control a situation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. That was well put. I mean, 1,000%.
Emotional about it too.
Yeah, exactly, Ayanna. Exactly. That you hit it right on the nail. You know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to share today? Wait, your girls project or your girls, did you want to talk about that?
Oh, yes. Well, no, it's not mine.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
The commission, again. I am not speaking as a representative of the Cape Cod Commission. But in general,
The project, maybe.
yeah,
Okay.
the Cape Cod Commission is, well, not just the Cape Cod Commission, the Massachusetts State Commission on the Status of Women has started a girls' initiative. And so it's still in its planning phases. We've had some, or they have had some, open to virtual town meetings and some surveys, but more to come, So stay tuned.
That's so cool.
I know.
Yeah. And
Very
I loved
excited
being on
about
that town meeting.
What's that?
I loved being on that town meeting that day.
I'm so glad you attended. Not many, I get so discouraged because I work out in the community with so many people who, they plead to me all of their struggles and triumphs and whatever that they're going through. And so I'm always like, there's a way for you to direct, these issues. Like your voice is so important and it's so vital and it needs to be heard. And I always want, especially women of color, to participate, people of color to speak up more. You know what I mean? But in general, with all of these surveys that are going on, it's like, I understand a survey's boring, but it's such a vital tool to people who are trying to find out the pulse of the streets or the pulse of the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
I
a
always
very
feel
vital.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to encourage those out in the community, when you're struggling with something, whether it's housing, childcare, I don't care what it is, food insecurity, domestic violence, addiction and recovery, whatever it is that you're struggling with, your voice it has value. It needs to be heard. And people who are in charge of making these decisions on funding for the Cape and all of the programs here need to hear your story, so make an impact, be heard, even if it's just writing a letter or an email, showing up to a meeting. I mean, there's so many ways you can make an impact and tell your story. So it's just so important, because I was so happy to see you at the virtual town meeting, because I think you and one other, Rachel, my friend Rachel, were the only people from the Cape. And I was just like, really, guys? Like, I need you to represent. I was like, I need you to represent. So thank you for representing. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think what gets so hard for people too is I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And this is something I think for people to think about too, is like, how do you make priorities in your life, right? So like, if women's issues is something that you really care about, or, fighting injustice is something that you really care about, like making priorities for those things in the way that you can, right? So even if you're a mom and you have a family and all this kind of stuff, like, no joke, my husband knows I care about this issue. I'm going to be here at this time. You are in charge of the child. Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good. And I love the way your husband is.
There is no other way. He's like, hey, and same thing for him. Like, for him to take care of himself, he needs to go to the gym. And so we carve out certain times where, like, he's like, I got to do this. I'm not feeling great today. Like this morning, not feeling so hot. Like just seeing all this stuff. He couldn't sleep. And just so worried about being a white dad and having a black child. And how do I, the dynamic there of how do you protect? He's like, I don't know if I can have to protect. I don't, like, he almost this morning was like, I don't know if I can do this. This is so hard. I know, right. I mean, it's just like, how do I, he's like, I know you always
doing it though. He's doing it. I love how supportive he is of you. And how supportive he is of his daughter. It's just so endearing. And it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
But I think like just making priorities for those things. I was just giving an example for people of like, it's okay to make those priorities. Because I think when people say like, oh, I wanted to do that, but I couldn't, I think some of that comes up, but like, but you can.
Yep.
Like that's part of when I do my coaching, I'm like, oh yes, you can. How much do you care about yourself? Right?
Yes.
Make yourself the priority. If this is something that you care about, that's going to change your life and the other people in your life, make it a priority. Same thing for white people when they're like, what do I do?
Yep. Right.
Make it a priority.
100%. 1,000%.
I was trying to like help people like, here's what my message is to people that don't show up to stuff when they probably can.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Question for you.
Oh yeah.
Not to flip the script.
Yeah.
So originally we were going to do a Fearless Friday, and then it changed to Motivational Monday, which, you know, either way, I'm so grateful to be on your show. So I'm not complaining in any way. I'm just wondering why the switch.
Oh, there was no reason for it.
Oh, okay. I don't mind. I'm just happy to be here with you talking about this stuff. This is great.
I had an opening on Monday.
Sounds okay. Well, hey, I'm here for you.
That was it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
But it's also now that you say that, I think it was actually a good switch. I didn't make it, but I think it's a good switch just because I think we're both so motivational.
Yes,
that's what
you absolutely are.
Yeah, well, it could be either. It could be Fearless Friday, motivational. It could be both.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, you know, I had a conversation about you to my friends, you know, and we were all just like, she's so dope. Like, we love you. We totally love you. We love your energy. We love everything you're about. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. And and I wanted to make some points if I could.
Go for it.
I wrote them down.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we get young people involved. And so one of the young people that I have been really watching is my friend Jackie's son. His name's Jakari Barbell. And if you are looking for someone for a Motivational Monday or even a Fearless Friday, I think he'd be great. He is a young man and he goes to Barnesville High School. I think he's like 16, 17 years old, but he's the man that was the young man that was standing on the corner of Bierce's Way, I think it was. He was holding a sign, Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe. He started that. Yes. You know, the first day he was standing out there by himself with his mother sort of walking, you know, just staying there to make sure he stayed safe because believe it or not, he was getting a lot of, you know, really negative feedback from people driving by. Like unbelievable things were said to this poor boy. And luckily Barnstable police was, you know, very, you know, supportive, and they kept patrolling and making sure he was kept safe. So that was really good. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is he, you know, after that one day where he sat out there alone, every day after that, he was like, the crowd just kept getting bigger and bigger. And it was just like, you go, boy. And another thing, apparently he speaks at his local church, and he's like, you know, he gives these motivational, inspirational speeches. And I had asked him to speak at the rally, and he just gave this wonderful prayer, and it was just beautiful. And I'm not a very like, how can I say this? I'm not a very religious person. I'm more spiritual. So
yeah, me too.
Yeah. You know, but the prayer was beautiful, and he just spoke from his heart, and I just think you would love him. I think he'd be a great, you know, if you're ever looking for someone. I know he told me, you know, he's definitely willing to participate in all of these events. So yeah, I can get you his info.
Yes, please do. I just wrote his name down, but yeah, but send me the info.
I will.
For sure.
And then the only other thing I wanted to just throw out there is just that we encourage each other and continue to encourage each other, and that we lift each other up. And, you know, it's so important to bring people up with you, bring your people up with you. You know what I mean? That's so important. If you're in a position, in a higher position, I don't care if it's, you know, at a job, in a community, whatever your status is, bring your people up with you. Because we're not going to get anywhere if we're not helping each other. And I just want to just make that stance. Like, I just want to put that plea out there that we're all helping each other and lifting each other up. And that I see you doing, and I want to definitely do it for you in any way that I can.
Back at you. Yeah. I was so glad last night when you were like, can I just message you this? I'm like, oh, yes.
So thank you very much for everything you do. And thanks again for having me on.
Well, thank you. And thank you for everything that you are doing in the community.
Thank you.
Do you want to plug in for your art or anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how can people
check out?
Like, you're an amazing artist. Like, how can they get some of that?
Thank you. So I actually have, if I can, since you suggested, I do have a virtual workshop coming up.
Oh yes. Okay, go ahead.
So it's Sunday, June 7th at 3:30 to 5, and we're going to be doing paint pouring. And it's in the balance. Oh God, what is the website? I wrote it down.
That's all right. We can.
You know what? I can send it to you.
Yeah, I'll repost it.
And basically, it's a virtual artist retreat. Susan Lambert is the one. She's a licensed psychotherapist. She's sort of created this and organized this wonderful virtual artist retreat. Yes, and she has like every choice to choose from in terms of workshops. There's a writing workshop, there's a singing workshop. I believe she's a singer, and she's the one doing the singing workshop. So there's all kinds of really great. Even if you're not into painting, go check out the website, see what you're into, and join us.
Awesome.
And I'll send you the link.
Cool.
And my personal website, I don't have a website, but I have a Facebook page. It's Artistry by Tara, aka Lady T Artistry. My daughter was like, "Mom, that's so corny. You need to change it." So we changed it to Lady T Artistry. She's like, "You are so corny." So she came up with Lady T Artistry because Artistry by Tara was corny, I guess. But and then I'm on YouTube. I haven't really posted anything, but I do have a couple of tutorials up there, and it's under Lady T Artistry.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm selling masks. I'm making and selling masks, so hit me up.
I will buy some from you. I like Lady T. I think that's good.
Yeah, that was Aaliyah, my girl Aaliyah.
Oh my gosh. Shoot, I just had a thought and I lost it. You don't have a website?
No, I gotta get on that.
Get on that, girl. I'll help you. I got somebody that I can send to you. He's really good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, I wanted to ask our listeners, I forgot of this part, but if people had questions for us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have questions for us, but if you do, you just type right in. We can see them. It can be about anything. We are open to discussing. You can see them? No?
No.
Oh, really? Hold on. Where'd you go? I lost you. Uh-oh. I lost Tara. Hold on, guys. Just see if we can get her back. She went somewhere. Tara, where'd you go? Hello. Hi, Veronica. Oh, she's back.
Did.
Oh, go.
Jeez. I just tapped my phone. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway. I am so technically challenged. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Oh, we were asking people if they had questions. Oh, can you see them now?
No, that's okay.
You're on your phone. Is that why, maybe?
Yeah,
that's why. Okay, so feel free to ask us questions, you guys. I can post them up here so you can see it. But no, everyone's saying really nice comments.
Oh, yay.
Yay. Everyone's saying good morning. They're saying we're a good combo.
Oh, nice.
Yes. People love that we talked about social justice and being human. That people are afraid of change. Yep. Fear of change. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What else? This has been wonderful. Jessica loves our energy.
Yay. Me too.
Amazing. Ladies taking this on. Oh my gosh, my ego. This is all good for my ego this morning.
Oh, I love it. Give it to me.
Veronica
I'm
says
just-
she just ordered masks, and thank you.
Oh, nice. Thank
Veronica,
you.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much for that.
That was it. So hey,
That was it.
you're gonna hit us up later if you have questions or comments or
Yeah.
whatever. We're here, and yeah.
Thank you, Ayanna. It
Thank
has
you.
been
I
real.
love you.
I love you too. I can't wait to meet you in person
I know.
and give you a big hug
I
when
know.
all this crap is over.
Stupid COVID's over. What?
I know.
I know. It's really hard not to hug people right now.
Right?
Because I feel like
probably hug
human
a handful.
connection is like you need the
Yeah.
you need to hug. I know.
Absolutely.
You gotta hug people.
I know.
So, yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll just keep talking.
Okay. I wanted to leave off with like some powerful inspirational quote, but of course nothing's like coming to me right now. Any other time I'm like, oh, that's a good one. That's too bad. But you know what? You know what's a good one? No, I can't. I also don't want to misquote anyone, so I'll just shut up. But if you think of something, let me know. See, I wish I could. I'm on my phone, so I can't just Google something powerful and inspirational. It's too bad. But I hope that you all feel the inspiration and feel motivated to, whoever's watching, feel motivated and inspired to act. Because now is the time. I think someone said that.
Yeah, the time is now. There is no tomorrow, right? There's not tomorrow if we don't create it right now. Yeah, we are creating the future as we move forward, and I think we can really create it. And I posted something from Angela Davis, I think it was yesterday. It's like, yeah, I will always move forward to create radical change because it's possible. So it's like, if we don't believe that it's possible to create radical change, that's when we get stuck. And then we get really, really stuck in our own stuff, and then we don't move forward in love. So people, you gotta have faith, you gotta have hope, you gotta have love. Like, don't ever move away from that. As hard as that is right now, like, I know, like, again, my husband woke up this morning and was just like, I can't with the world right now. It's so heavy. And I had a couple of other people message me like, how are you still positive? Like, I'm like, because there's no other way.
Right.
There's no other way.
It's a survival skill.
Yeah, it's like, right, exactly. So it's almost like going back to like being homeless and all that kind of stuff. It's like, imagine if those moments, like you or I, didn't have hope that our lives would be completely different, right? And so we created that. So everyone can. Everybody can.
Everyone can.
Yeah, everyone can. Yeah. All right. We'll talk more. I'm like, I can do this all day.
I know. So one thing I did want to ask you, I know that we had in your previous conversation with Deb, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I really just called Amanda her mother's name because I used to work with Amanda's mom.
Yeah.
Amanda Converse, which I thought was, I was so touched by that conversation. It was like, I love that you're reaching these people, and I love that everyone is being so open and honest and willing to at least talk about it. That this isn't an easy topic. Race, justice, equality, these are not easy topics. So when I see people who maybe are a little hesitant to talk about these things, it really just speaks volumes. So I loved that whole I shared it, and I hope that more people watch it because it was really, and it's educational too. For people, maybe it'll inspire someone else who probably feels a little scared to bring up these issues, and maybe they'll start the you've already started the dialogue, so maybe they'll carry it on, hopefully. But you had mentioned, I had mentioned the term people of color. I think when the movement started in the late 70s or something, I was actually referring, and you were like, I thought it was later than that. You're correct. So I just wanted to, you were absolutely correct. I was referring to the term women of color, which surfaced in the violence against women movement in the late 70s. To unify all women experiencing multiple layers of marginalization with race and ethnicity as a common issue. So that's what I was referring to. And when you when you questioned it, I was like, is she like, oh, no, but I was like thinking to myself, like, am I getting this wrong? And then I was like, oh wait, no, because I'm all about the women's cause. So I've got all that stuff in my head, and sometimes it just comes at me, and sometimes I place it where it doesn't belong, and then I'm like, you know what? I think I did that this time. I placed it where it didn't belong. So that's what that was about. So I just wanted to apologize for that.
So
and you were right.
You were so adamant about it. I was like, I hear you, girl, but what am I missing? Like, what am I missing? I'm like, I hear you.
I know. But you were right.
That's awesome. No, I love that you brought that up, because here's what's cool about that. It's like so many people are so afraid of language right now, because half of the camp is like, language is so important, and the other half of the camp is like, but I can't fuck anything up that I say, and Black people get mad, right? So people just watch you and I have a conversation as women of color, like, maybe we don't know the terms, and like we don't.
Yeah.
Because I remember when people of color came out, and it was later, because I remember in college having all those discussions about it, and it was like the dynamic shift, and all these papers had to shift, and it was all this stuff. But
I know, and it's hard, like, it's hard keeping all that stuff in your head, obviously, as I have known.
Right.
But yeah, and that's another thing too that you just brought up about people not really knowing what terms to use. Like, I get that, not wanting to offend.
Right. And then the whole all lives matter and Black lives matter thing, it's like people, it's like all lives matter, yes, but right now Black lives really do fucking matter. Like, you can't respond to one with the other. Right. But you can say all lives matter. Like, to me, as like a yoga teacher, right? I was thinking about this yesterday. It's like, I do yoga for everyone, right? So I'm inclusive to conservative white people. I am inclusive to Black people. I'm inclusive to all bodies, all genders, all sexuality. I have to make space for all of that, right? So it's like, I do truly believe that all lives matter, but not in response to this. Right. You know what I mean? Exactly. There's a difference, and people are getting so caught in the semantics of it. It's like, let go of the semantics.
Yes.
It's okay to just say, like, fuck racism.
Right. Fuck racism. Yep.
That's it. Leave it at that.
Yep. A friend of mine, actually, my best friend, she posted something that I felt was it was a great analogy to help us understand why Black lives matter. So it's not that we're saying all lives don't matter. We're saying Black lives matter too. And the analogy that she posted was in reference to burning houses, right?
Oh, my husband showed me that. He's like, here, this will make sense to people.
Okay, yeah. So you get it. So when I read that, I was like, yes, like, we need to post this. So basically, say every house in your town is on fire. Or no. Is it?
No.
Oh God, I'm messing it up. It's the other way around.
Like you're like watering down every house, like, and then it's not on fire.
Right. So that's right. And then only one house is on fire, right? See, I know how to screw up a good story, I swear. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to like get this picture across people's minds because it makes so much sense and it totally applies to this conversation.
Like, no one's mind is clear right now. The world it's hard to forgive yourself, please.
Yeah, but basically what we're saying is Black houses' lives are on fire, right? And so we're not going to go and hose down everybody's lives because right now everybody's lives are not on fire. Right. Black lives are on fire. And that's where we need to start,
The attention needs to go.
Right. God, I am so sorry for screwing that up. But you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I read it yesterday and my husband sent it to me. He's like, see, this is why Black lives matter. We broke it down for people that really don't get it.
Yes. Jason, please post the meme.
He will. I'll get him to post it later. I'll get the one. I'll get it.
And I wanted to shout out the dweeb movement because he's the guy, he's a man of color, and he's making these shirts. I don't know if you can see. Yes. So I don't know how to get in view here, but here, let me step back. Can you see?
Turn, nope, go the other way.
Okay.
I can sort of see it now.
I can't breathe. So he normally he makes it in white white wording, but he ran out And I was like, make it in red. What the hell? Like, it'll count for the 300 years of bloodshed, you know? So, but he is a young man of color on the Cape. He makes these shirts. He has a great movement called the Dweeb movement. It's about this Ayanna. Yep. Dweeb, as in like, you know, dweeb, like dork, dweeb.
Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want to be like derogatory. Like, you call him the dude a dweeb.
That's okay. That's what he calls himself. The dweeb movement. Right. So, but I feel like his mission resonates with you, will resonate with you. He's all about kids' mental health, so that, you know, to prevent addiction, to prevent suicide. So his cause is really, really, it's a beautiful thing, and he's really just trying to you know, he's a Black man out there trying to or a man of color, I should say. I don't know if he's Black, but he's a man of color. Trying to spread, you know, positivity in a really hateful world right now. So, and really trying to do good. So, and he's making these shirts.
Cool.
So hit him up on Facebook. He's called the Dweeb Movement.
The Dweeb Movement.
DWEED.
Cool. I'll get one. I'll get a ton. Yeah.
Great. And he delivered it to me from like Maxi or something. So.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I cry when I hear that. Every time.
I'm sorry.
Every time. I know.
With you.
I know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we did good, my love.
We did. Thank you again.
Thank you. And more to come from both of us. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Peace out.